All right. All right. Let's take a look. All right, so we got Lucian. Okay, we got Lucian, Rakan, Aircon. I'm too hot when I'm streaming.
And wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing
okay. Vi, Maokai. Okay. Okay, Vi, Maokai, and then Ari. And then Annie, right? Okay. And then they respond Cassante and Nautilus. So, okay. So, you guys already heard me talk with Crowny a million times over, okay, on how I think that this is a losing line. I think that going things like short range, committal, bruiser, stuff like this is losing. Now, I think that he would agree that, like, Annie is just really good into it because she shuts down front lines. Because Leandri's is just way too broken. Tibbers is really strong. Now, the thing about this also is that Annie is obviously a multi-flex. She can go top mid. She can go support. So she's very flexible. Now, Nautilus can also be very, very flexible. Now, Nautilus is going to go either jungle, mid, or support here, but probably going to mostly be mid and support. Okay. Now, the response ends up being here is Wukong and Jinx. So right now, they actually are saying that they have longer range. They have the Annie and they have the Jinx. They're actually saying that they have the wall that T1 needs to get through. This is already a problem. So T1 should have actually been the ones to have Jinx. I don't know why they didn't take Jinx on red side. I'm confused why they didn't take Jinx on red. Because Annie shuts down front lines. That's just what she does. And it doesn't make any sense to draft front line into, Annie. Okay. Now, T1 decide that they want to just access Jinx. I mean, that's basically what they're saying, is they're going to just try to dive the Jinx. So anyways, they go Aphelios, and the issue with this is now you have Jinx versus Aphelios, and we already know what the differences are between these two AD carries. Aphelios is the playmaking AD carry, and Jinx is the longer range, more scaling AD carry. Now, the difference here is that Aphelios has a front line that's like tanky, and Jinx has a, front line that eats front lines. It's like the Wukong and the Annie. And oddly, because Jinx outranges and Annie outranges, Aphelios actually has to go into Jinx. So this is already fundamentally a little bit flawed. So let's rewind a little bit to the next spans. Okay, so now Gwen... how do I do this? It's this, right? Yeah, okay. So now Gwen gets banned away, and I think this one is actually pretty obvious because you're going multiple tank, etc. The Rumble ban doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I just assume that T1 is actually playing it a lot. And now the Malphite gets banned. I think the Malphite is actually a little bit weird. I really do think the Malphite is weird, but it's sort of whatever. And then JDG end up banning Lulu on... They ban Lulu here. So... now T1 has to decide what they want to do. Are they going to show the Nautilus flex into support, or are they going to show, Nautilus is going to end up being mid, Cassante is going to be mid, Cassante is going to be top, where are they going? Now, again, the Annie is also a flex, right? Annie is also, potentially going to be flexed into support as well. And so they actually go for Kindred. Now, the Kindred is interesting because they go double marksman at this point, and now they actually give themselves a way to try to combat the Jinx through double marksman. So double marksman with, a front line and stuff. If Kindred can stack dragons and then eventually get to 7 marks and stuff, yes, it gives you a way to try to do this. That would definitely be like a way that you can try to combat it. Now, one of the things that you're going to have to do here is you're going to need perma prio in pretty much every single lane because you have to do dragon stacking. And then at this point, what ends up happening is Gragas comes in and then Braum comes in. And this is where T1 do the self-counter pick on R5, which is the Thresh. The Thresh doesn't make any sense because it's a self-counter pick. You're going into the opponents because you're all shorter range. And because you're going into them, the Braum is actually rewarded, and your Thresh isn't doing anything because the Lantern doesn't actually serve any value. The Thresh isn't doing anything inside of the laning phase either. It should have just been an Enchanter in order to also play off of the Kindred. So the Thresh doesn't make any sense. It should have been an Enchanter, but thematically, the initial opening of R1, R3 doesn't make any sense, and it makes me think that T1's initial draft prep is just really bizarre. So I'm hoping that in Game 2, things do go a little bit differently, but we'll see. We shall see what ends up happening. in game 2. But I think game 1 is just really bad draft. And then it doesn't play out the early game the way that it would have needed to in order for T1 to have a chance. And then obviously the early game, like we can take a look at it actually. Things that like went really poorly was obviously Owners Invade, but we don't just have to look at Owners Invade. Let me take a look. There was also like other weird stuff. So like right here. So Owner doesn't have Noon Quiver. So he does, okay, so he does Wolves, and he has Smite. And Faker crashes in mid. And now Thresh is here too. I legitimately think you have to just do Dragon. I think you need to take the L on the waves. I legitimately think you have to take the L on the waves. Your bottom lane is coming in no matter what. I think you have to take the L on your waves. I think Faker and Keria need to help Owner, and I think you need to just get the Drake. Because if you do not start stacking dragons with this team composition, if you do not get the increased resistances for your front line and guarantee an early soul for your team, you're going to lose anyway. It doesn't make any sense why Owner does what he does here. He does the crab, and then immediately they're more preoccupied. You see this, the wave is coming in. Gumayushi's fine. Like, Gumayushi's not going to miss any CS. The way that this wave is going to work is these melees are going to walk in front of these spellcasters. It's going to be 6 spellcasters, 3 melees. And what's going to happen is Gumayushi's not going to miss any CS. Wukong is recalling. Wukong can't come to Drake. Gragas can't come to Drake. Annie can't come to Drake. She's not going to go to Drake. Annie's going to shove in the wave, and then Annie's going to be afraid of the Fog of War. So Faker's going to give up a minion wave, but you're going to get... I mean, it's fine. You're Nautilus. You're playing low econ. You don't care about it. But also, you're winning CS on Nautilus anyway. So even though Knight already got the whole wave, you're still ahead in CS. It doesn't matter. You get the Drake, and then Owner goes and he gets his Gromp, he resets, he passes the left-hand side. And then the wave is coming in bottom. And then because Owner is at the Gromp when Kanavi is at the red and on bot side, Owner is there to protect the dive bottom because Owner is also level 6 at that point before he would end up resetting. And then Gumayushi just shoves out the wave and everything. So it's weird. This is another like really bizarre thing. And then the other like really big mishap was in mid lane. Where is it? Shit. Okay, so right here, you can't get vision. You cannot get into river. You just can't do it. Zeus knows that he can't do it. Look at where Gragas is. Look at the minion wave in top. Look at the minion wave in mid. Look at the guns that Gumayushi has. Look at the minion wave at bottom, right? Look at the positioning of all of the JDG champions, right? This control ward is also spotting Knight. It's spotting Kanavi. It sees missing, etc., right? This is Kindred's 4th mark, okay? Just go and get your 4th mark, man. It is a Chemtech Drake. Like, it's disturbing that T1 wants to lose the game over a Chemtech Drake, but they're not willing to lose 105 minion wave gold in mid lane in order to get a 6-minute mountain dragon. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. All right, we're going to live. Okay, we're good. I don't know where anyone is.